Awesome, man. Well, hey, it is 11 o'clock. Everyone, welcome to the Power Half Hour. Today we have a very special guest from Tony Robbins, who's done some self-development before. Good job, guys. Well, Stephen Hilgart, he is a speaker and trainer for Tony. Stephen has helped advise Fortune 500 companies. He owns 2 businesses himself. He's on the road all the time. And, you know, the first thing I noticed about Stephen is his energy and enthusiasm. Who wants more energy and enthusiasm on this call? You're on the right call. Awesome, man. Well, without further ado, thank you for being here, Stephen. I'll just let you introduce yourself a bit.
It's a pleasure. Yeah. So again, my name is Stephen Hilgart. I'm the top national speaker for Tony Robbins. I've been with the man for about 5 years, and I became the top trainer last year, which I believe is fancy terms for more airplanes. So, you know, realistically, like I was joking before, I've been on the road 365 for the last 5 years, back to back, without taking a break for Tony. So I've done about 2,500 speeches, workshops, training programs for him across North America. And my role is one of 2 things. Either a company is struggling and they're trying to turn things around, so they bring me in, or they're doing really well, you know, like EXP, and they're trying to hit that next level. So we end up being with the really high producers and the bottom producers trying to turn things around. So that's kind of my job for Tony. And the man changed my life about 15 years ago. So excited to be here, share things with you, and just whatever distinctions and whatever questions you might have today, and however I can help, I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for being here and spending half an hour with us. So, you know, I'll just share a little bit about my journey with Tony as well. You know, he was actually my first self-development course that I've ever taken. And, you know, my first book that I've ever read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I did nothing with that book for like 2 years. And then, you know, just I was selling jeans at a local clothing store, and, you know, awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Guess who comes on in the infomercial? 2004, Tony Robbins, right? And then, you know, I had no money. I was like, you know, dead broke, didn't know where to go. And then he's like, you know, get this program called Get the Edge, and you get personal power and all that, right? So I tried the program, and it was like, what, 14 CDs, right? And then did the program, did the journaling, and nothing happened for like 2 years. The only thing that I remember getting success out of was actually putting in my journal, right? So 2 years later, I was like, oh, you know what? The Tony Robbins program didn't work. It didn't work. Get the Edge didn't work. And then I look back from 2008 in my journal, I had achieved 80% of all that I wrote down in that journal. Isn't that crazy?
Fantastic. That's amazing. I love it.
Isn't that crazy? So, I mean, that's just the testament to, you know, the program that you follow right now. If you don't think it works, it's working. You just got to put in the work and believe. I took that leap of faith, man, and it worked, right? So just wanted to share that with the crowd as well. If you guys are thinking about, you know, joining Tony or going into some material with Tony. So thanks again. Thanks again. So what do you think about that, my journey here?
I love it, brother. I mean, I've experienced something very similar. And I look back at some of those journals of what I thought was important 15 years ago, 10 years ago, and I look at how I achieved every single one of those goals. And one of the lessons that I learned out of that was I never celebrated those goals. So when I came to work for Tony, he reminded me very, very directly, you know, very, very nice, very kind, but very direct. As high achievers, we tend to forget that when we achieve these goals, we got to celebrate a little bit, because most people, when they hit their goals, they just say things like, is this all there is? Oh, that wasn't that big of a deal. And no matter how much work you put in work for 2 years to achieve those goals. And at the end, you were like, oh, I achieved those goals. Great. Now what? So
yeah, now what?
Emotion. Yeah, that's where we have to find both the science of success and then the art of fulfillment. Like, how do we actually be fulfilled?
Ooh. So there's achieving the goal, and then, you know, that's just a completion of something. And then there's the accomplishment of it. So tell us more about the fulfillment part and the accomplishment part. How do you achieve that for yourself?
Well, listen, you know, Tony uses the example of Robin Williams all the time. And this is a beautiful man. And, you know, you ask, you know, a room full of 20,000 people at our events, and how many of you love, you know, Robin Williams? Every single person raises their hand from every single country, 180 countries. Everyone raises their hand. Oh my God, my life was so impacted by this man, the humor, the joy, the jokes, all of it was great. And he had everything. And this is a man that, you know, he wanted to go start a TV show in Hollywood. How many people say that? Everybody says that. How many people do it? Nobody does it. He does it, and he does that, becomes successful, #1 in the world, becomes successful, wants to do movies, becomes successful, wants to have a beautiful family, becomes successful, more money than he could ever spend, becomes successful. And then at the end of the day, he hangs himself. Why? Because he made everybody else happy but himself. And as Tony would say, this wasn't exactly where we're going to go today, but I'll tell you, there's only 6 human needs. And you know this from Tony's training, which is certainty, uncertainty, significance, love, growth, and contribution. Those first 4, you meet those no matter what you do, but the last 2 are where people are actually happy, when you grow and contribute. And if you don't feel like you're growing, you feel like you're dying. Jack, you and I talked about this just briefly about teamwork and inviting people onto your team yesterday and just making sure. The reason people leave, especially in a real estate brokerage, is only for 2 reasons. It's not because of a better commission split. It's not because of more money. It's because #1, they feel unappreciated, but #2, more importantly, they feel like they're not growing.
Wow.
When you feel like you're not growing, you feel like you're dying. So then you got to find somewhere where you can grow and contribute and feel like you're doing something for the team, right? So that's a lot to be said in 30 seconds. So I'm speaking very fast on our half hour here. But hopefully that
thank you for the 6, and you know, I'm sure we'll you know, post that somewhere. So growth and contribution, however, the last 2 are why people would feel enrolled and fulfilled in their life.
100%.
Because like you said, the first 4, no matter what, you know, you go through life, you're gonna hit your first 4, certainty, uncertainty, whatever, right? But the last 2, guys, are you feeling fulfilled by growth? Are you growing every single day? Are you, you know, learning new stuff? Are you, you know, are you going to the next level every single day? Right? Doing something uncomfortable, right? And what's the other one? Contribution. Are you contributing to other people's lives? Right? Yeah. Or are you just being contributed to every single day? Right? So thank you for that. That's awesome.
It's a pleasure.
Now I want to talk about you know, because I've spoken to you 3 times now, and every time it's like an explosion of energy. And Tony always talks about this peak state.
Yeah.
Peak state. And guys, would you guys agree that it requires a lot of energy and enthusiasm to sell a lot of real estate in today's market, especially what we're going through right now? So tell us more about, how do you get to peak state and how do you stay there?
Well, I'll give you my journey a little bit, and then I'll kind of give you the tips. But here's the thing. A lot of people, when they look at me, they see this like over enthusiastic, energetic. That's not necessarily what energy is. For you, if you want to be energetic, it's not that you're over the top and obnoxious like I am, but you're present, you're focused, you're determined. Whatever that word is for you, that puts yourself in that peak state. And what I always ask people when I do like one-on-one coaching or group coaching, I say, what is that word for you? When you're in the flow, when you're in your peak state, when you're at your best, what is it that you do? And for me, that word is strong. When I feel strong, I am centered, I am focused, I deliver, I'm here. For other people, it might be excited. It might be motivated. It might be driven. Whatever that word is for you, that's what we call peak state, at your best. That's where we're at. You know, we look at examples of this throughout history, but I just, you know, I'm going back through the documentary again, The Last Dance. I don't know if you guys have seen this, the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yes, sir.
When you watch Michael Jordan walk, talk, move, that man's a stud and everybody knows it. When he walks in the room, he commands. He has that energy, that presence that's there. He's not overly excited. He's not like, woo! He's just there, and you can feel it. That's the difference between 2 people sitting down for a listing presentation, running the same exact script, but yet one person gets it, the other person doesn't. Why is that? Because all sales is a transference of energy. If I can't, you know, listen, I can't give you $1 if I don't have $1. Right. I can't give you confidence if I don't have confidence. So that's one part of this, but I'll give you my journey a little bit. I've been in the martial arts since I was a little kid. I had a cousin who was a world champion kickboxer. I wanted to follow in his footsteps. So I got pretty good. I trained like 8 hours a day. I was a professional athlete and I fought. This is before the UFC was really big. So I'd fight in these tournaments and all this sort of stuff. But even when I had my first business, which was a karate school, I taught 16 classes a day, 6 days a week.
Oh.
Some days I did everything. So I taught karate classes from like 10 a.m. to midnight almost every single day for 5 years straight without a single vacation, without a single break. So when I say peak state, that energy, what this comes from is not just, was I feeling perfectly before this call? Hell no. Feel like crap. But when it comes game time, I'm here because of that conditioning, that muscle that I put myself through. For a real estate agent, goes out and knocks on 100 doors a day. And obviously that might not be the best strategy in today's world, but you know, say someone's going to do that. They have this ability to go and push themselves when they don't want to. They go to the gym when they don't want to. They make the phone calls when they don't want to. Every single time you do that, you build muscle. Now, all of a sudden, if I get sad or depressed or frustrated or I'm tired, I'm on day 4 or 5 without caffeine. So I'm going back to no caffeine. So for me, like to be able to build this energy again, I have to push myself through these moments. And as you know, going to UPW, because you went to UPW, yeah?
Yeah, UPW in 2017.
Yeah. So Tony says this. He says, I don't buy the people's limitations about how much they can jump, how long they can stay up, how long they can go without food, how hard they can clap. I don't buy that BS. And I'm going to push them to that next level. Just by doing that, you realize how much more you have inside of you. So when someone says, I don't have the energy, it's BS. And you and I both know it. You always have more potential inside of it. You always have more. You can dig deeper. You can go for it if you really want. But once again, confidence is not this over the top, like, yeah, confidence is resolve. Where you know you're going to win and there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, guys, and thank you for that. There was a lot there.
There was a lot. Sorry, I'm speaking really fast.
Well, what I got from that, first and foremost, guys, sales is a transference of energy, right? Energy is not just about, you know, me being enthusiastic, you know, yelling as loud as possible. It's about presence. It's about being here. It's about who you're being when you're there. Are you actually present, right? And for those of you guys who don't know about UPW, the Unleash the Power Within, you know, it's a 4-day program where you literally are there at 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're jumping around for 16 hours in a big room full of, I think, 16,000 people is probably at its max. And you really learn how to get to the peak state, right? Yeah. So that was your journey. How do you yourself stay in peak state right now?
Well, I've got a rebounder behind me here. I've got the weights behind me here. I go for a run. You know, right now I'm in Arizona, so it's like 182 degrees outside. So I'm not going to go for a run today. However, you know, I might go for a walk later when it cools down and all that sort of stuff. But I do a lot of greens. I alkalize a lot. But more than ever, you know, I might put on some music. I might dance around. I'm at a standing desk instead of a sitting desk.
Yes. Because
energy is really built by 3 things. Every emotion is built by 3 things. Here's what they are. Number 1, physiology. How do you move and how do you breathe? Now, everybody knows this before because here's the truth. If I look behind me, behind my virtual background, there's someone hiding behind there. They're depressed. And John, maybe you tell me, is their head up or down?
My head?
If there's someone depressed,
is
their head up or down?
Down.
Are their shoulders back or slumped?
Slumped.
Yeah. Are they breathing full or shallow?
Very shallow.
Yeah. So why do we all know this? Every single one of you guys would have said the same answer. Why do we know this? Because there's a very specific physiology to depression. You have to put your body in a certain way. Now, when we go back to the Michael Jordan example, do we all know he's confident, guys? Yes or no?
100%.
Why do we know that? Because the way he carries himself, the way he uses his body, he puts himself in that emotional state. Most people wrongly think, when I feel better, I'll get moving. No, it's when you get moving, you'll feel better.
Right.
That's the difference right there. To put yourself in a peak state, you got to get moving. So dancing, jumping, whatever it takes. That's it.
Motion creates emotion.
Yes.
It's not that you feel like it, then you get moving. You get moving, then you'll feel like it.
Yes. That's it.
Guys, the distinction there, you're not going to always feel like it. There's no way. This morning, I did not want to get up, but I got up. And when I got up, I got moving. And when I got moving, I felt like moving. And the more and more momentum you can create, that's how you get into your peak state. Guys, right.
Spot on.
Awesome,
Spot on.
man.
That's
Yeah. That's awesome. So there's one secret, Stephen, that you wanted to share with the crowd. Because most of us, I would say majority of us on the Zoom call are real estate agents.
Yeah.
We all want to take our business to the next level. And you're going to give us one secret.
The one secret, and I'm going to expand on it. I'll be brief, but here's the thing. I've done 2,500 workshops for Tony Robbins now. Half of those were at a real estate office. When I walk in, I've been to the best brokerages in this country. I've been to the worst brokerages in this country. And I was always fascinated by the question that Tony asked, what's the difference that makes a difference? Why is it two people can be in the same office, same market, same training, same knowledge, same inventory, taxes, president, weather, government, everything is the same, but yet they produce two different incomes? How could that even be possible? Well, it's because what Tony taught me, he said the difference that makes a difference, the one answer is decisions.
Ooh.
They're making different decisions in the same situation. Decisions like, should I go or stay? Invest or not? Try or pass? Should I make that phone call or should I put it off? Those little decisions on a daily basis end up, it doesn't, change your life overnight, but it changes your direction. And that direction has an ultimate destiny. And if I can be a little bit more advanced here, there's 3 decisions we're always making, whether you know it or not. 3 decisions. Write them down if you would. Decision number 1, what to focus on. Are you going to focus on the problem or the solution? The opportunity or the crisis? Are you going to focus on everything that's going wrong out there, everything that's going right? I did a large virtual tour of Manhattan just recently. I did every real estate brokerage back in Manhattan again. Those guys were shut down for 120 days, meaning they weren't even allowed to show a property or they would be arrested. And some of them actually did get arrested. Like, that's how insane it was.
Wow.
And, for them, it was really struggle. Imagine 120 days. You can't even do business. You're not allowed. You're not allowed to call. You're not allowed to knock on doors. You're not allowed to do anything. And when I got on the phone with these guys, I told them, hey, guys, it's what you focus on. This is not positive thinking. This is about being intelligent. Intelligent people do not let the external world determine their internal world. So I said, guys, what do you focus on? And every single one of them, I shouldn't say every single one of them, 99% of them told me what they can't do. I can't do this. I can't do that. You can't do this. Nobody can do that. It can't be done. They're so focused on what can't be done that they don't even visualize what can be done. And the people who were doing transactions still, they were doing virtual walkthroughs of a property. Wow. Hey, there's an innovation. They focused on what they could do. So that's decision number 1, what to focus on. Decision number 2, what it means. For a lot of people, the meaning, this is probably the most important part, because meaning creates emotion. Emotion is life. If you got $1 billion, but you're constantly stressed and frustrated, your life is not equal to $1 billion. It equals stressed and frustrated.
So meaning, in what I've been trained in, we're all meaning-making machines, right?
Yes.
Do you mean, so what do we focus on by meaning? Like, what does it mean to me when I'm taking this action today? Or like, do you mean a negative meaning? Like, what does this mean to me when somebody says to me something that is negative?
You hit the nail on the head. We are meaning-making machines. We have to create meaning for everything. So for a lot of people, their focus is coronavirus, coronavirus, coronavirus. The meaning for them comes to like, oh, I'm going to lose my business. I'm going to lose my job. I'll never have any money again. I'll never be able to provide for my kids. Everything. It's the end of the world. And then for other people, they focus on the empowering meaning, like you're talking about, like is, hey, for the first time, I get to meet my kids. I haven't been able to spend more than an hour with my kids for the last 10 years. Oh my God, I get to know my kids again. I get to spend time building my business. I get to create a virtual business that I can use for the rest of my life. Completely different meaning. That's, once again, that's not positive thinking. That's leadership.
Mm.
These are the ones who have vision. That's the truth.
Gotcha.
That's decision number 2. Here's the last one. What are you going to do about it? What to focus on, what it means, and what are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it? Okay.
That's the truth. Action really boils down to everything, because we can sit around and sing Kumbaya and visualize a great life, but if you don't do anything, it ain't ever going to happen.
Absolutely. So number 1 is focus on what do you need to focus on? Number 2 is the meaning. Number 3 is taking action.
Yes.
So guys, debunk for us a little bit, because we all talk about positive thinking, right? And Tony, I don't think Tony believes in that.
No.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing is everyone, and I still get this to this day, when I go in front of a crowd of 1,000 people, I'm like, how many of you guys know who Tony Robbins is? And only like half the room raise their hand. And I'm like, well, guys, really? You've been living on a rock for 42 years? Like, what's going on here? Come on, catch me up. And people go to Tony not for positive motivation. They go to Tony for strategies, distinctions. The reason Tony is the man he is today, and this is brilliant. I don't get to have this conversation with many people, so I'll tell you exactly what it is from my point of view. He's the only man in history who ever figured out why does therapy work when it works.
Mm.
Every school of psychology or therapy has worked at some point. Why did they work in those times, and why didn't they work in other times? Why do some people change in one session? Meaning, you know, they get over a fear, a phobia. They're scared to knock on doors. They're scared to pick up the phone. They're scared. Why did they get over that one session? And then some people sit on a couch for 27 years and never make a change. Why is that? That's the answers that Tony came up with. And that has nothing to do with positivity or motivation. Yeah, you might get excited watching him because we music and dance and we learn the physiology thing. But here it is. Positive thinking is not the right way to go. Here's what you need to do first. Step 1, see things how they are.
Mm.
Not how you wish they are, not
Right.
how they wish they could be. Step 1 is to see things how they are. If you're not making any sales, you got to have an open and honest conversation with yourself. Say, listen, right now, this sucks. That's step 1. But here's the challenge that most people face is they see it worse than it actually is.
Mm.
So when you see it worse than it actually is, sometimes people call that negative thinking, but when you see it worse than it actually is, it puts you in this emotional state of why even try? There's no point. I'm going to give up. So you don't want to make yourself worse than it actually is. See it how it is. Step 2 is you see it better than it is. And once again, that's not positive thinking. That's vision.
Mm.
That's saying, here's where I am. Here's where I want to be. This is the amount of transactions, amount of money I want to make. This is how I want my business to look, my relationships, my body, whatever it is. And then step 3 is make it that way.
Make it that way. Got it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my mentors and he said, you know what, like if your reality sucks, don't focus on that. Only focus on what you want. What is the future that you want? Step into that and take actions towards that. If your reality sucks, don't focus on what's so today. You gotta get grounded in what's so in reality, but don't resist it. Take action to make it better.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Awesome.
spot on. So that's the secret. And if we follow up just one last 30 seconds here on this bit, when you make decisions over and over and over again, they become what Tony calls a pattern of psychology, a patterns of behavior, a pattern. Another word is habit, obviously, but it's a little deeper than habit. It's really what are your patterns? And most people right now are running patterns that made them successful 5 years ago. And it's not making them successful now. That's why everybody's so pissed off.
Right.
Especially high achievers. They say, you know what? Listen, I'm inspired by this message. Thank you, Stephen. Great. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go work twice as hard. But they're doing the same things just twice as much. And, you know, what pisses off high achievers more than anything is when they're working twice as hard and they're getting less results than they were before.
Ooh.
That's what really hurts. That's when someone goes in, I'm going to make 100 phone calls today, and nobody picks up the phone. You're like, what the hell? Because we as high achievers have this belief that if I just work hard, I'll become successful. It just isn't true. You need strategy, right? You can't just have positive thinking. As the old Jim Rohn quote would go, he said, listen, you can motivate an idiot, but at the end of the day, all you have is a motivated idiot.
Right.
You got to be really careful with this. So the trick is to interrupt those patterns and get rid of the belief that if I work twice as hard, I get twice the results. It's just not true anymore.
Oh my gosh. So Stephen, that's exactly what I was doing to get out of the COVID situation. March 16th, we got shut down here in Vancouver locally here. And I said, okay, right now I'm talking to 30 people. I'm going to talk to 50 people. In fact, on Monday, I will talk to 100 people.
Right.
Never interrupted the pattern. I just doubled what I did, which was the exact same thing. And guys, the patterns that got you here will not get you to where you want to go. I'm going to say that again. The patterns that got you here will not take you to where you want to go. Guys, break it up, right?
Yeah.
Switch it up a bit. Strategize. Man.
We are so bad at recognizing our own patterns. We're so bad at it. Me too. Listen, I've been with Tony for 5 years. I've studied with him for 15. And I still see patterns. I'm like, oh my God, really? Am I doing that? I am. Damn it.
Yeah. So lots of patterns that we don't see. And that's why we have, people who are mentors or coaches that you reach out to see our blind spots.
Yeah.
Right. So we got 4 minutes left. Who's got some questions right now for Stephen about the program, about Stephen, whatever have you?
Give it to me.
John, I have a question. Stephen, what is the best strategy to break a pattern? How do you recognize a pattern and how do you break it? Can you give us some example?
What's your goal right now?
My goal is to do agent attraction. And I haven't even started it because by just even thinking about it, it paralyzed me. So how do I move out of that and start doing the work?
To identify it, it's really easy. And John and Jack, we might be putting together a workshop for you guys to actually go through this for 90 minutes. But here's what it is. What's your goal? My question next is, why don't you already have it? And you're going to tell me all the reasons why you don't have it. Well, I don't have time. I'm a little afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. Those are all belief systems. Those belief systems are a pattern, a habitual way of thinking and behaving. So when you start to identify what are their main excuses, those are all patterns. Patterns of procrastination, patterns of a lack of energy, patterns of a lack of clarity, patterns of a lack of planning. Those are all patterns. Those are the things that hold you back. That's what Tony is so good at, is helping you identify your patterns and helping you change them. So when you talk about Unleash Power Within or any of these other events, the biggest thing that we're doing really is getting clear on what we're after, what's holding us back, and how do we smash through. So the trick is identification, number one, but number two, how do you actually interrupt a pattern? Well, that's a radical shift in physiology. Here's the easiest way to do it. I use humor. I use, crazy stuff. I'm awful. I'm crazy. I'm disgusting. I do whatever it takes to get someone to think that something else in that moment. Here's a perfect example. You're talking with your friend. You're arguing back and forth. You're having a spirited debate, and somebody walks up and asks you a question that had nothing to do with your conversation. And you're like, what? Wait, would I eat a bowl of crickets for $10,000? What? What does that have to do with anything? And then in that moment, you try to go back to that conversation, and both of you are like, well, wait, what was I saying? What were we even talking about? That is an example of a pattern interrupt. So something humorous, crazy, whatever. The best way to do it, the easiest way to do it without any manual, go for a run, work out, exercise, because at the end, you will interrupt that pattern and then go back into that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Thank you, Stephen.
Perfect. My pleasure.
Ooh, that's so good. So good. So interrupt the pattern. Whatever you have to do, just get out of the house, go for a run. Oh, what was I thinking about? Something negative. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
Right. So interrupt that pattern, but recognize the pattern first. Okay.
Yes.
Good job. 1 more minute. Who's got another question?
Stephen, I learned something. Did someone else ask?
Nope, you're up.
Okay. So I learned from Tony one thing very valuable. Life is happening for you, not to you. Can you share with the crowd about that?
My story is kind of an interesting thing because about 2 years I was homeless. I lived on the streets of Chicago, slept in the back of my car. I spent the last of my food money on Tony Robbins to try to turn my life around, and it worked. But a lot of people, when I hear that story, they're like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for you. And yeah, it sucked. It was tough. I was scraping together change to go to the dollar menu every single day. I was depressed, sad, frustrated, upset, crazy. I would not trade it for the world. Why? Because it built me into the man I am today. The thing that Tony taught me, said, listen, you have to figure out a way in your head why your worst day was actually your best day and why it actually made you who you are and where you became. You know, I didn't have, you know, I had a pretty good upbringing. I had some challenges. And every one of those challenges I look back at as a gift. And here's the thing. A lot of people say someday we'll look back at this and laugh. Well, why wait? Why not just decide right now that this is this COVID thing? Come on, guys. It's a little funny. Yes, it's dramatic. Yes, it's crazy. Yes, a lot of people are dying. But people are arguing over a stupid mask. That's a little funny. That's a little funny. You know, so in that moment, you can start to say, like, look, guys, in this moment, these days, while they're hard, they're challenging, this is what builds muscle. I am building muscle today. That's what we're after today.
Really got that. Really got that. And thank you. Again, guys, it's since we're meaning-making machines, we make up stories anyways. What story are you going to make about what's happening right now? Is it happening to me? Oh my God, woe is me. Or is it happening for me? This is going to make me stronger. And what doesn't kill me will make me stronger. So do we choose to be stronger, or do we choose to get beaten down by what's happening around us, guys? All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Stephen. Share with us how we can get involved on the 90-minute introduction.
Yeah, so we'll schedule a thing for you, and we'll have a little registration for you guys. I want to do a private workshop for just you guys. So we'll do that, and we'll maybe send out an email for that. If you want to come to the event, here's what it is: www.upwwithsteve.com. This website is a special website with a special link for EXP realtors. So if you're not with EXP and you're thinking about signing up, you might want to sign up because it's a $3,000 package for $695.
Oh,
so you're going to get a ticket to UPW virtual, which is November 19th to the 22nd. You're going to get 8 weeks of coaching with me. So we're going to drill together and really build your business. You're going to get personal power, the old cassette tapes. And if you're signing up right away, here's the thing that you get. I'm going to gift you a free ticket to a live in-person Unleash the Power Within event that you can use anytime in the next 2 years.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. So I'll be posting this in the comment section on Facebook. And, you know, there was a lot there, but I'll look forward to the email and I'll give it to everyone here. Stephen, thank you again. And thank you everyone for being here. Have a great day, all. Love you all.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you,
See you later.